Why don't we start with some quick introductions? Many of you know each other, some of you don't, some of you just met. How about just a quick introduction?
Okay, so I'm going to start. I'm Irene. I'm a German speaker, native speaker, and I feel really happy to be here.
I'm Steve, and this is my home.
I'm Winsheim, and this is my home, my work also, and Steve is my love.
Hi, I'm Joe. I live up in Arborvita, where I escaped up to there from the city 38 years ago.
My name is Marco. I live at Teaching Auto School.
I'm Janelle. I am in Three Lakes, and I moved here to the Northwoods a few years ago and saw Winsong and Steve's sign out when I was driving by, and my life has gotten so much better since.
I'm Tamarack, and I'm here because this fits in the continuum of my life journey at this time. I've been doing a lot of work with trauma memories. My personal journey has taken me back to trance, entering the trance state in order to retrieve some of those old memories, the deep somatic memories, not the conscious memories. And I'm putting together all that I've learned about shamanic practice and trance, entering trance, that I learned from the elders in my younger years. And that's manifesting here right now. I'd like to share some of what I've gained, and I know some of you in this circle have some experience too, and have done various trance journeys through various means. The traditional means that a shaman would use help us to connect with the rhythm, the pulse, first of all the pulse within us, the heartbeat, the breath, and help take that outside of ourselves so that we can bring the heartbeat of the mother, the heartbeat of the earth within us so that we become one with that. And this is the trance journey. I'll explain that a little bit in a minute, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with introductions here, with introductions to this experience. First of all, I'd like to ask if any of you have any experience with trance journeying or trance dancing. Just share a little bit of what you already know, what you're bringing to this circle here.
Well, I'm not sure if it would be the same, but I've done like soul retrieval and some different journeying with different shamans, they've taken me through some journeys, and was through the sweat lodge with some Native Americans.
Same thing. Yep.
And I had this really awesome mental experience, or I had these visualizations and stuff, and I thought that was really kind of exciting, and I wonder how many other times in my life I've given up before you're going to get something, and I lost out because I gave up,
Most of my experience in being in a trance state has been in being in a state of stillness and not movement. So I've been exploring movement as a way to achieve that state the past few years, which has been very different. For me, it's a lot of times about entering the dream state in the waking world, and rapid eye movement that helps me get to the altered state of consciousness.
I've been down that road too, and it presented a different perspective to life and life's ways that you don't see in this state of mind that we're in here. Kind of like, if you've never been to the top of the mountain, you get to see the view at the top of the mountain, and you really understand a lot more of the lay in the land. And it was a great experience.
My experiences have been of course, using my breath to take me to that place frequently, but the depth that one goes in a more ritualized, in a ceremony, in a ritual is always extraordinary, and the depth that to have that trance state, to have that with others, the depth that takes me to be with others.
I would share that both times that I gave birth were, I saw things no one else in the room was seeing. And it was this moment of like alignment with something that is beyond language, so I won't try. But it was the most grounded and powerful and divine moments of my life.
You know, these are all great examples, whether Steve, it's with breathwork, or Heidi with soul retrieval, with LSD, with what could have been your doorway with extreme pain, birth. All of these are doorways to the trance state. And the reason they work, and it doesn't matter which doorway we choose, the traditional doorways that a shaman uses are tools, actually, that are all related to rhythm. The first tool that is universally used is fire. And the drum, there's the rhythm of the drum, there's the heartbeat again. Chant, there's the rhythm of the chant, the pulse of the chant. Breathing is used universally as well, usually in combination with some of these other techniques. And the beauty of some of these techniques with breathing, for example, we have our breath with us all the time. There's this rhythm which we're usually not conscious of. We're going to bring that into conscious play here tonight, along with the rhythm of the drum. We're going to have the rhythm of the drum here. We're going to have chant. All of that is going to be a part of this experience, and you're going to sense the overlays. And we're going to bring these exterior rhythms in conjunction with our internal rhythm. And the reason for that is that this is the shamanic journey to the trance state, and I'll explain that real quickly by giving you the fastest crash course in neuroscience that you've ever gotten, probably, just so that you understand what's going on here. For those of you who are new to this, imagine that this is your spinal column, spinal cord, and this is your brain. Now, at the base of the spinal column, right here, is your reptilian brain. That's the first brain that evolved, and just as the name states, this is the brain that reptiles and amphibians have, and we evolved from them. So we have this brain as well, and this reptilian brain takes care of our basic survival functions: reproduction, food procurement. Our fight-flight mechanism is centered in our reptilian brain. This takes care of our basic survival functions. The second brain, or the middle brain, is the mammalian brain. This is shared by all mammals, and this is also known as the limbic process, or the limbic brain, and it's this middle brain that we are going to in the trance state. This is the seat of our long-term memories. This is the seat of our emotions, our feelings. We mammals are empathetic creatures because we have evolved this mammalian brain. And the third brain, the one that evolved last, is our rational processes. You can call it the ape brain if you want. And this is the brain that we are functioning from right now primarily. However, it's really deceptive because we think of ourselves as rational creatures. We think we have control over what we're doing. Well, in actuality, only 1 to 5% of what we do and how we function is controlled by our rational brain. 95 to 99% of what goes on with us comes from our limbic process, this middle brain, the brain we share with all mammals. And that's why we're going back there. We're going to go back through these layers of self-identity, of rationale, and get down to back to what it is to be human. Now, there's one other thing that we are going to circumvent tonight, and that is our habits and our patterns. And in order to understand that, I'll give you a crash course in neurolinguistics. Now, linguistics is communication, right? You all understand how we are communicating here. Well, the brain functions that way too. In fact, all three of these brains function with neural receptors. There are billions of neural receptors that create the functioning part of the brain. And whenever we do something, we are programming these neural receptors. Think of them all as little tentacles up there, and they're just looking for something to connect with. And if there's a cause and effect going on, I'm thirsty. Oh, I go to the faucet to turn on water to satisfy my thirst. Two connections are coming together. And the next time I'm thirsty, I'm going to automatically go to that faucet because I have made a neural connection. So 98% of what we do is based on habitual responses, these habitual responses. We think we are conscious, rational creatures making decisions all the time. We are not. We are functioning on this neural programming. And this is what we are going to get underneath tonight through trance dancing, so that we can be our spontaneous selves, we can be our organic beings as we're intended to be. And in doing this, we are going to go under language, because language is based in our rational processes again. It's based up here in our ape brain. We don't need language to communicate, especially to communicate with ourselves. We are going to get beyond our boundaries we have established, the boundaries to knowing ourselves, the boundaries to connecting with each other, the boundaries to connecting with our greater circle. Because boundaries exist in the rational processes again. Boundaries are a function of the ego. We're going to get beyond the ego. Okay. Now this is called a trance dance, and the reason it's called that is that many of the movements that are going to come spontaneously are going to be in sync with the rhythms, and it's going to appear to be dance. However, some of you might be crawling, some of you might be slithering, some of you might be flying, I don't know. It may or may not appear to be dancing. Don't be self-conscious about that. Just let whatever happens happen. One element of being in the trance state, and you're probably going to feel this to varying degrees, there's going to be this wave that comes over you where you are less and less conscious about how you look to the person next to you, or about how you are moving and how someone else might be judging that. As you lose this self-identity, this self-consciousness, hang on just a little bit. This is something that all shamanic practitioners are well aware of, so that they don't either hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. This isn't always the case in an LSD trip, because we don't always go there consciously, and we sometimes do it ourselves or others. But in the trance state, it's not necessary at all. Just keep that little edge of awareness of your surroundings and who's around you. Good. I'll just mention quickly here how trance dancing and entering the trance state is used in healing, especially in trauma healing. Some of you may have an interest in this. We're not going there tonight. That's not the purpose of our coming together. When people who are traumatized usually carry a story with them, a story of how they were traumatized, and for some people this is very important for a variety of reasons. Some people are looking to understand what happened to them. Some people are looking for forgiveness. Some people are looking for an explanation as to why their lives are the way they are. And when people are triggered and this trauma memory comes up, there's a script that is enacted, that they play out. PTSD, for example. Everybody knows about people who come back from the military, people who've been in the front line, and when they are triggered, they will the switch will be flicked, and they will be right back in the battlefield again. And they have no control over this because they've been triggered, and they're enacting a scene from the battle. And that's a classic case. However, it happens every day to so many of us in much more subtle ways. We just don't notice it. Sometimes we're triggered and we get angry. We don't know why, but we just get mad and we start arguing with somebody. Or an overwhelming feeling comes. There are all kinds of trauma triggers that we don't recognize as such, because the vast majority of us have been traumatized. And the beauty of entering the trance state is that we can go down and we can connect with this trauma memory without being triggered and without having to play out the script. We can become familiar with our woundedness, and this is a doorway to the deep somatic healing that can help us in our lives so that we are not continually victimized by our past. I'm just throwing that out now. I'm not at all intending that this is going to be a healing experience. I just want you to know that if you go down there and you're touching something that feels really profound, that could well be what it is.
Can I ask you to repeat what you said earlier about people that are traumatized? How, I forget how you said that they exhibit that or demonstrate it?
Well, I think what you're asking about is that a trauma memory isn't a typical memory. It's embedded in our being. It's imprinted in our. It's somatically imprinted.
So the simplest piece would be to just simply connect your inhale and exhale. So there's no pause. Inhale, immediately exhale. Exhale, immediately inhale. And what can happen sometimes is we can forget our breath when a sudden, like we're struck with a feeling or a memory or an image or a movement comes. And so the more we drop into our breath, the more we stay with that spontaneous movement that wants to come from the body. Our breath helps guide us with that. Our breath helps us like bring it to fruition, like actually honoring our body and doing it. An image or an emotion or a memory or something comes, whether it's something you think happened in your life or didn't, our breath can keep us present with that. And then that's where the gem is, that's where the value is. We stay with our breath, and then our whole body integrates. So again, in the simplest sense, just keeping your inhale and exhale connected. Remembering that sounds that want to come out, of course they come on the breath, they travel on that out breath. We can't express ourselves, we can't let those sounds happen when we're not breathing.
around you. Ever so gradually. Keep the rhythm, keep moving softly. Just calm. When you're ready, stand in a circle. We're not here yet, we're all one vibration. Everybody come together. Hold hands. Keep your breathing going. Center of a circle, bow to our circle. One at a time. Close the circle around you. What feelings did this experience bring up for you?
Just needed to.
Well,
3 weeks ago.
interestingly, I felt like really free of who I think I am. I felt like I was expanding, so that I was almost like I was dissolving and just feeling like I was a part of it all.
Did anything meaningful come up? Something you didn't expect, something out of the blue, something from your past? What are you going to carry away from this experience?
Well, I'm going to take away some of what you gave us as a little background, a little primer as to what to be looking for in this exercise. Some of the psychological things that I've experienced and I've wondered about, and some of that jumped out at me. I wasn't quite knowing that's what I was getting in for here tonight, but it was certainly something I'd love to come back to. Do it again. I'll do more of it when I dance.
Yeah.
I like to dance. I've been dancing all my life.
First, it was a feeling of being drawn deep inside. The feeling of having almost like a waterfall go inside of me and clean me up all the way from the inside out. It was like a bath of a shower, like a waterfall, just washing everything out, and happy and playful. And then I just really also felt a connection with everybody that was dancing. I wasn't looking into anybody's eyes, or, my eyes were closed most of the time, and when they were open, it was just like all of these different bodies were somehow part of a movement that was one movement.
For me, this is a healing journey. I have old memories of traumatic experiences from my childhood, and they've affected my life. And I've explored trance dance through my time with the native elders in the North Woods here, and I've wanted to help bring this experience to other people so that they can get in touch with that deep woundedness, so that they can have a chance to change their lives, to get rid of the shadow memories that are haunting them in their lives. And this experience is meaningful for me because it is meaningful for other people. Something the elders taught me was that giving is receiving, and if I can give and share, that in turn nurtures me and supports me in my healing. I think what I'm going to bring home from this experience tonight is the sense of community that we created here with 11 people, many of whom were strangers. They never met each other before. And through entering the trance state, we went down below the hi, how are you kind of relationships that we often evolve in social environments, and connected on a level, on a meaningful level, on a deep, intrinsic level where we vibrated in the same frequency. This is the core of relationship. And this is what is going to nurture me beyond this experience.
Trance dance is one of the most powerful somatic healing tools that I have found, and for this reason it's very important for me to help bring it to other people. It's especially useful as a healing modality for trauma and for working through behavioral patterns, stubborn behavioral patterns. For this reason, I would like to bring trance dance to as many people as possible. I work with therapists, and I can come to you and conduct trance dances for you and work with your therapist. We also have a healing center, which is called Healing in Nature, where we conduct trance dances. We have an arbor out in the forest with a bonfire, and we have a trance dance studio as well. And you can go to the link down below and get the information, contact us, and we will fill you in on what you can do to participate. And if you would like to host a trance dance, I would be glad to come and help you with it. If you have any questions about trance dance and how it could fit into your life and how it relates to trauma healing, please contact me. The information is at the end of this video.